Limitless opportunities come when you finally start your dropshipping business. That's what my student Andrew found out very quickly when he was able to start learning with my team and I how to create a successful online business and generate over $182,000 in online sales in only a couple months. Yes, you heard that right, $182,000. And if you're ready to learn more about this student, how he was able to succeed with the help of my one-on-one mentorship, the profit that he made, and hear what you're able to accomplish when you put your energy into creating financial freedom, then make sure you stay tuned. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. What's going on, everyone? My name is AC Hampton. I'm the founder and owner of Supreme Ecom, where we help people from all around the world how to start, build, and scale profitable e-commerce businesses and e-commerce brands. And this interview will be absolutely limitless on value, so make sure you stay tuned to see how you can start getting results with your own e-commerce store. But before we head into it, you guys know that we give out a free one-on-one consulting call every single week to one lucky winner to get all of their questions answered and streamlining their success while doing so. And the winner of last week will be mentioned somewhere inside this video, so make sure you stay tuned the entire way through. And if you want the opportunity of winning this week, all you have to do is smash that like button below and in the comment section comment the word Supreme Ecom with your biggest takeaway from this video. With that being said, spots in my one-on-one mentorship are filling up very fast. I now only have 6 available spots left, so if you're ready to start working on your own online business successfully and profitably and be guided no matter what experience level you are, then reach out to me on my Instagram at AC_Hampton by DMing me the word mentorship or apply with the link down in the description. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring Andrew right in here and get right into this value. All right, so question number 1 I have for you is when and why did you join this one-on-one mentorship?
So I think I joined it it was like a year, like a couple years ago, and it was primarily like at the time where I was like mostly, at my darkest times, and I was searching for help, So I was like going through probably the hardest, toughest period of my life ever, trying to get all this ecom thing, work. And I stumbled upon you, I knew you for some time, and then I was like, yo, let me hit this guy up, And I immediately saw that you guys had like some good stuff going on, and like the strategies and the stuff that you guys, taught us. We're gonna get more into that, later. But I was like, I just pulled the trigger. I was like, let's do it. Why not? What do I have to lose? I was like already at the lowest point, so I was like, let's pull the trigger. Why not? So that's how I kind of got into it.
I like that. When was that again?
I think it might have been like a couple years ago. I'm not quite sure. I cannot really recall it because I'm focused on so many things, so but it was like a while back.
So right now, is this your primary or is this your secondary income now after
it is my primary income? It is my primary income because, I'm still a teenager. And my only obligation is e-commerce. And I started this out of pure passion. And I never wanted to work a job. I've never worked a job in my life ever before. And I never wanted to be like, that guy that, just like the average Joe, like just flipping burgers at McDonald's or something like that, And I was like, no, I gotta, do something big. So it's my primary income. Yeah.
So when you were looking around for mentorships, why did you join mine specifically over anyone else?
Well, primarily because I knew you for a while, and I was scammed many times before, actually. So it was like there were like periods, I joined like many mentorships before, and I got scammed like multiple times. And then I followed you for a while, and I saw, you were doing all these conferences, you were doing like the crazy results, the students' results as well, and I was like, man, I got to join this guy. He has to be legit. If he's not legit, like who else is it going to be, So that's what triggered me.
Okay, most. I like it, man. And then how did you find me or hear about it? Were you like following me on Instagram or YouTube, or like how did you kind of?
Yeah, I was watching your YouTube. I think like when I was researching, when I was just getting started in ecom, I found your YouTube channel because I was searching on like, how to find, winning products and shit. And I stumbled upon your stuff, and actually the first product that I ever started scaling was from your YouTube. So I did get some info from there, from there I just started following you on IG, hit you up, we got started.
And then what was like that main incentive that day you just said, I'm going to pull the trigger? Like what was going on in your head and kind of what made you do it?
So I think it was like a time I had like this store, right? And it was doing like some sales, but it wasn't anything special. So I was like, yo, let's sell the store first, so I can actually get the money to pay you for it. I was like dead broke at the time. I didn't have anything, So I sold it store, I think, for 15,000 bucks, something like that. And I took that money and I did some heavy thinking. I think it was like good 3 hours of convincing myself because, again, I couldn't trust it, at the beginning. And I was like, damn, it, I got to pull this shit out, and I did. And it was probably like the best 3,000 bucks that I've ever invested in my life before, It's probably the best thing I've ever done.
So if you weren't doing dropshipping right now, what do you think you'd be doing?
Well, that's kind of like a tough one to answer, but I would probably study in school or something like that, get some good grades and probably study to be like a lawyer or something. That's what my parents wanted me to be initially. They were like, oh, you're going to go to this law school and shit. You're going to go to like college, whatever, you're going to do. Like, they were really, really against the ecom stuff. When I got started in ecom, they were like, no, you cannot do that, But
how old are you?
Let
everyone know how old you are as well. How old are you?
17.
17 years old, man. That's literally crazy. Well, congrats on getting started. Like I always said, what you did right was taking that first step of action. And when you were taking that first step, kind of let me know right now when you saw things started working out for you. So when you're in this one-on-one mentorship, when did you start thinking things were like starting to go in the right direction?
I think it was right after I started like learning ads, the proper way. I think my biggest struggle was like ads, and it's kind of complex. Most people wouldn't really understand and wouldn't really imagine how tough ads can actually get, especially with like the new Facebook regulations, like the bans and all that shit that you have to endure, and go through. But I think when I started like mastering ads, when I really went deep into that, and when I really started like seeing some results, like pulling some $2,000-3,000 days, that's when I actually got to a point where I was like, oh damn, this shit's starting to work out,
Hey, you're talking about
there's something good going on.
$3,000 days. We can always talk about it, but let's go ahead and share your screen. Let's go ahead and check out some of the results.
I bet. Let's do it.
And just some of the things you've been able to achieve in the last like 3-4 months.
Oh, for sure. Alrighty, so here's like a little bit of a breakdown of the total results we did in the past 3 months or so. And we would have done much, much more than this, but we actually got banned. So we're working on actually getting reinstated. We've been banned probably for like over a month. So the sales kind of like, as you can see, like if you look at the line over here, they kind of like started declining. It's simply because we got banned, but the product was actually just entering the scaling phase. So I kind of like in the process, of actually me scaling up this store, I actually kind of managed to build my own strategy, and advertising and shit. I kind of like did a little bit of a deep research, and I was like, let me see how this could work. And, what I ended up doing was I first started like setting up some awareness and traffic campaigns, to kind of like avoid targeting cold audiences and to like spread awareness as much as humanly possible. So from there, I just, started optimizing for purchases like right away. And I was like, I started hitting it off, like right. I think the very first week, you can see like at the same week that I started, I hit my first $2,000 day. I think, yeah, it was something like that. If you take a look at the line, so I kind of started going nuts
right here. Then $154,000 just in the last 3 months. Wait, hold on. That little 3.47 conversion rate, 3,700 orders. So let me know like kind of what was going on right now. We can go ahead and check out like the first month, the second month, and here in a second. But what was your main focus more than just the data? What like when it came to actually choosing the right product? What made you kind of understand that this was going to work for you?
Well, first, initially, one thing that I started, thinking about is, I wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel, and I wouldn't recommend that to anybody because you would probably, be stuck at a dead end. It's very, very hard to innovate something. It's not impossible, but this is e-commerce. And again, that's not like a requirement. But for me, it was like mainly finding, the right product, to provide people like with, in a form of like some type of value. Because, the more value you provide a certain individual with, the more money you can end up making. So I was primarily focused on actually finding the right products, and select the right product to actually sell. And from there, build my advertising strategy, and give customers some ideas as to what they could do with the products, So that's kind of like how I managed to actually reach these results. I mean, it's nowhere where I want it to be, but it's still pretty good,
I like that. So show me month one and give me a rundown of kind of what was the main things you were doing at this time frame. So
for sure.
Okay, so this is the first month. You can see it really spiked up very quickly right around May 9th. You end up
Yeah.
finishing off right around $31,000, 3.3% conversion rate. So when you kind of took this product and you started scaling it out the gate, did you already start seeing ROAS and profitability from basically week one?
Well, not immediately. I think it was like mainly my ad structure. So I was like, as you can see, like the first days were kind of slow. It did like 200 and 400, and then it plummeted down to 300. And then I think, like a few days after, I started hitting, my first $1,000, $2,000 days, etc. So what I had to do was, I noticed a few mistakes into my ads. We're all human. We all make mistakes. So I noticed a few mistakes into my ads, and I was like, okay, this needs fixing, that needs fixing. So I kind of tried to optimize them as good as best I could. And from there, they just kind of took off. Just started like spiking up like crazy.
Okay, okay.
And
Let's check out the next
my
month.
best day
Oh,
for the
wait.
first month was like 2,900.
First month, 2,900. Okay, okay. And what were you like? What was the profit margins you were hitting on these type of days?
So I wasn't like very profitable at the beginning, and that's something to be expected, with when like the store's like fairly new. So the profits were like 24, 25-ish, 25% at most.
Okay, okay.
But
Let's hit up the next month and see what you're doing then.
yep, that's for sure. So that's gonna be June. I have to
You're probably gonna have to
manually do
change
that.
it, yeah.
Well, yeah, there you go.
So June went from
So
33,000 in May to 57,000 in June.
yeah,
So you had a little bit
and an
more
increase.
consistency going at this moment. Let me see that average order value. Did it go up this month as well? Sitting right
Yeah, I
around
did.
3%. Okay, yeah. So what was going on here?
Yeah. So over here, basically, we mainly focus on like just the horizontal scaling phase. Not the horizontal. Oh fuck, that's where I messed up. The vertical scaling phase. We mainly focus on the vertical scaling phase. So from here, we just managed to find the ideal interest to target, and we just took off with them. We started increasing our ad spend a little bit, but it wasn't anything too crazy before we actually started getting some more profitability. And at the time, we actually managed to get like a better supply for like cheaper costs and cheaper shipping and all that. So our profit margins naturally spiked up as well by 10% compared to last month, and we still managed to retain that profitability.
So you were
The
sitting
conversion
at
rate
like
dropped a little bit because we
35%.
were testing.
Were you sitting at like 35% profit at this point for this month?
Yeah, 34, 35% approximately.
Okay, okay.
And I think the best day, yeah, this is my very best day. So in a single day, I did like $4,419 in sales
I
on this
love it.
one.
I love it. So we all know that June went well. We know May went well, but let's go ahead and check out July and see what you're able to accomplish with that too.
Alrighty. So this was my biggest month yet. And this is where you can see that like at the beginning of the month over here, we had a little bit of a problem. Our ads got like shut down for some reason. We managed to get them reinstated, and we managed to hop back up, the very next day with like $2,300 in sales. We just kept, going with like consistently like 2,000, $2,000, 4,000, 3,700, etc. And over here you can see this big plummet at the very end. So this is where we actually got like really, like up when it comes to advertising. We got banned Facebook usually, bans you for no apparent reason, and it's normal. It's pretty normal, but like it's something that we have to like. We're taking like hours and hours every single day to actually work on getting that fixed, but we're running out of options. But we're still like trying to think, and it would have been better, like August would have been much better, and September would have been much better, if we actually didn't get banned. But obviously, since we got banned, we couldn't, advertise anymore. So the sales, fully dropped. But we're working on getting this fixed, and actually continuing, with product expansion. So I want to disclose this to all the viewers. Actually, this store was only, advertised in Australia, believe it or not. So these results are only from Australia, from the Australian market. We were about to actually start expanding this thing, but we got banned. So that's kind of like.
And then go back to so you hit a 4% conversion rate this month, and overall it kind of went up by 1% every single month. So even when you started seeing this conversion rate increase, what was the main reason behind that? Was it the people you were targeting? Were you fixing things on your product page? What was the main thing increasing that?
I think it was just like learning how to optimize everything properly. So there is much more things rather than just like the product when it comes to actually optimizing for the maximum sales. So obviously the first thing that comes into your head is something must be wrong with the website, right? So we constantly, update it, we enhance, like we always saw room for improvements on anything, so we started like by first fixing up the website a little bit, because we actually paid a guy to get the website done for us. But later on we fixed, we swapped themes and all that, and it was much better. And then we started, optimizing the ads. We started targeting, even better audiences. We started testing new creatives to keep the audience engaged, to prevent ad fatigue, et cetera, and it ended up working pretty good.
I like that. So go back to the overall results for the total time frame between May and July 31st. Around 154,000 sales at 17 years old. I mean, with this currently happening right now, what was the overall profit? So like, give me a rundown of what the profit looked like over these 3 months, and literally what other people can be doing if they replicate the same success.
Well, the overall profit, if we take like an average from it, it would have probably be like 31% from what I've always kept track of my profits, of my spending, all that stuff. I find that to be very, very important, so it's about 31%, total. So from these, don't let these numbers fool you. It's like 31% of this, but it's still pretty good. Again, nowhere near where I want to be, but it's going good, because I can use this money to reinvest it, and create something bigger.
Definitely. And 30% of 154,000 is right around $45,000. So you have an amazing profit foundation to build off of this, and kind of run me through what you're looking to be accomplishing over the remainder of the year. And I'm gonna let you stop sharing your screen real quick, and we'll go ahead and get into a couple more questions.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So with that profit, we all know that Q4 is coming up, and we know a lot of different changes are going to be happening. So let me know what you plan on doing to continue to reinvest these profits and grow the business that you're looking to
basically, I'm reinvesting all my profits. I don't really, spend money, none of that. So I took all this money, and I'm currently focusing, primarily on like testing 20 plus products that I actually found for Q4. I've searched up, some pretty dope trends. So I think I can do even better.
But overall, I mean, it's definitely seemed like you've taken this experience, learned from it, and actually have created a real success and passive income from it. So my main question I have from you is, what do you think you've learned the most from this experience?
Probably to like just believe in yourself, like just never give up. That would be probably the number one thing. Like you have to go through a lot of stuff, like it's not going to be simple, and you're going to have some dark days. You're going to have days where you're going to question like whether or not this is actually worth it. You're going to have, days where like you'll just think, oh, this shit is not working out for me and all that. But like if you have the courage, to actually keep going, you'll make it. No doubt. Like if someone would have told me, like a year ago that I would be here, in just a matter of that short span of time, I would have not believed him or her. There's no way. But here I am.
I love that.
It was just working. I was working like 17 hours a day, for years and years. And right now that we're like focusing on a bunch of projects, there's a bunch of work to be done. Constantly pulling all-nighters. But it's all going to be worth it in the end.
Of course. So even through those dark days, like what would you say, and this is just off topic, but what was like something you were telling yourself when things weren't going right?
I was like, oh, damn, like what could be, I was trying to think like of ways to crack the code. I was like, there must be some kind of secret code, to crack, like there must be something, going on. And I was like, damn, like this shit might not work out for me. I was questioning it. I was like, yo, is this actually going to be worth it? But I just kind of tried to shrug it off, and I kept going. Here I am.
I like it. So my last question of the day I have for you is, who do you think would be a really good fit in this one-on-one mentorship, and who do you think would not be a good fit?
A good fit would be a person who actually, first of all, I would suggest, for everybody to build their budget a little bit, because e-commerce is a serious thing. I think that everybody should treat it as a real business. This is not a joke, not a get-rich-quick scheme, none of that. So first of all, if you have some budget to work with, and if you actually are determined, if you're actually the type of person that doesn't want to give up, refuses to give up, and actually focuses purely on growth, I think this could be a good fit for you. Whereas if you're like a guy that like constantly slacks, is being lazy and just focuses, on like distractions and shit, if you get distracted really easily, you're doomed for failure. So I wouldn't recommend this. It would just be a waste of money.
No, that's good because you are a direct reflection of the work that you put in, especially the success that comes from it. So I just want to say I really appreciate you a lot being in here, Andrew. I think everybody can
Hey,
learn
likewise.
a lot from you. I mean, being 17 years old, generating over 6 figures and growing to 7 figures and more. That's something that I'm excited to be a part of the journey and continue watching from the sidelines and making sure I can help out in any way, man. So I appreciate you being a part of the Supreme family, and I'll be talking to you soon. Hey, I'm trying to tell you that interview went absolutely crazy, didn't it? The results that Andrew was able to generate is the true definition of what hard work, consistency, and continued learning can do for you. He showed you exactly what taking that first step and making use of everything that my one-on-one mentorship can really provide for you. And speaking of taking that first step, it's time for me to announce the free one-on-one consulting call winner from last week's video. And the free one-on-one consulting call from last week is Victoria Hankey. Congrats, Victoria, on taking action. Reach out to me on my Instagram at AC_Hampton. Let me know that you won. We can hop on a one-on-one Zoom call, look over your products, look over your ads, and help you out with anything that you have questions over. Hey, and don't forget, if you want the opportunity to win next week, all you have to do is smash that like button below, and in the comment section below, comment the word Supreme Ecom with your biggest takeaway from this video. I hope that you enjoy seeing what it's like to be a student under Supreme Ecom, and you're able to get some insight on some strategies that you can implement on your own store. And I want to be able to feature you next. So remember, if you're having any questions at all, you can reach out to me on my Instagram at AC_Hampton. DM me the word YouTube so I can provide any solution to anything you're stuck with. Remember, it's not about how much money you can make in this world, but how much knowledge you can teach others to change their life. DM me the word YouTube if you're feeling stuck at all. I look forward to helping you next. This is AC with Supreme Ecom, and I'm out.
They gon' want a piece when you got it like that. Like Jake said, we gon' spend it, get it right.